Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of PAM, thank you for participating in today's CPD Unlimited session entitled Gender Concepts and its Relevance in Development. My name is Architect Justin and I am your moderator for this session. Before we proceed, let me go through some simple housekeeping matters first. As with all the other sessions conducted today, please feel free to type in any questions you have during the session in the question and answer tab at the bottom of the screen. Please also do not forget to key in your sign in and sign out code to be entitled for your CPD points. Now with that out of the way, let me introduce our speaker for this afternoon. Architect Sharon Amin graduated in 2008 with a Bachelor of Architecture honors from University Technology Malaysia. In 2017, she started her own practice, Sharon Amin Architect. She has been actively involved in PAM activities and was a graduate representative in 2010 and 2016. Architect Sharon is currently a committee member in PAM Sabah Chapter Committee for the 2020-2021 term. In 2019, Architect Sharon participated in the Gender in Development workshop organized by JEWA, Jabatan Hal Ehwal Wanita Sabah. In 2020, she was selected to be trained as a certified trainer by JEWA and attended the Train the Trainers workshop for Gender in Development. Other than that, the same year, she also attended the Disability Equity Training workshop organized by the Social Welfare Department. So that is a very brief background to our distinguished speaker today in relation to her topic. Without further ado, let me now pass the time to Architect Sharon. Architect Sharon, please.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sharon, and I'll be talking about introduction to gender concept and its relevant to development. Okay, maybe I share my screen now. Okay, introduction to gender concept and its relevance in development. So again, my name is Architect Sharon Amin. I'm a PAM Sabah Chapter Committee member, and I'm also the PAM Gender Equity Special Committee member. Okay, we thank you for PAM for organizing the CPD Unlimited today, 27th of February. Okay, just a little bit of background. PAM Gender Equity Special Committee 2020 to 21. We have come up with the PAM Declaration on Gender Equity in Architecture. It is a commitment in adopting from the UIA Gender Equity Policy in Architecture. We also published the PAM Policy on Gender Equity in Architecture. So this publication is available on our PAM website. And also we would like to special thanks to Jabatan Hal Ehwal Wanita Sabah, JEWA, for organizing the Train the Trainers workshop and also publish the Train the Trainers manual and teaching plan. Okay, for this workshop, they actually involve state government, local authorities, and they also invited us, the PAM Sabah, as one of the professional bodies. They also invited NGO. And we also have our very experienced trainer, Dr. Tunku Naufal. He's an invited trainer for the Train the Trainer workshop. Just to give a little brief about what JEWA has done, they actually come up with a teaching plan which consists of 4 modules. 4 modules, okay. Module number 1 is what I'm sharing today, Introduction to Gender Concept and its Relevance in Development. Module 2 later on next session will be shared by our friend Architect Tracy, applying the gender lens in development. And the other 3 we are not going to share today due to the time that is available to us. But it is about the issue and the challenges in mainstreaming gender in development, the current issues, gender in development. Okay. So what we are going to share today is, we keep on talking about gender. We mentioned gender a lot. We heard about gender equality. We heard about sustainable development goals. The sustainable development goals or global goal are the collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. The SDG was set in 2015. by the United Nations General Assembly and are intended to be achieved by the year 2030. So basically it was established 5 years ago and was actually expected to achieve the goal 10 years from now. Okay, we all are architects. Most of us are from the building construction industry. So maybe there's some question that what is it, why gender equality is relevant to us? When we see this is SDG number 5, most of us are actually more concerned on maybe SDG number 6 about clean water and sanitization, which involve our dealings with Jabatan Air, and maybe SDG number 7, which is the affordable clean energy, which deals with the GBI. Okay, and also maybe number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure, or number 11, sustainable cities and communities. So how does gender equality actually relate to all this? If you look at all the other sustainable development goals, they actually involve human resource. And when we talk about human resource, we actually talk about man and woman. And the moment we talk about man and woman, gender become one of the item that we have to take into account. Okay. Yeah, we are facing a little bit of technical issues here, so please give us approximately 3 minutes to settle the technical issue. I will stop sharing screen now.
So transferring.
Sorry for the technical issues, everyone. Just give us 3 minutes and we'll sort out the audio issue and we'll be right back with you. Okay, thank you for your patience. Yeah, sorry everyone for this technical glitch. We are currently logging onto another PC because of the volume settings that we couldn't seem to adjust. Just bear with us another 2 minutes and the speaker will be with you. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Is it okay? The voice now, okay. Yeah, sorry for the technical issues that we are facing. Yeah, it took a little bit of time to switch to another computer. So now I'll be sharing back our screen. Mana PowerPoint then? Oh, okay. Share sudah kah? How to share the our screen kah? Oh, sudah tak ini. Okay. Saya di share screen sudah? Okay. Okay, just now we stopped at the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, and because of that, the reason why United Nations actually come up with the Sustainable Development Goal and even put it at number 5 to show the importance of it. Currently, we just take example women in Malaysia. This is a data that was presented in JEWA training in 2019. So basically, the statistic is that about 48.3% Malaysian is women, and about 54.1% human resource manpower in Malaysia is women, and approximately 67% of IPTS students is women. Approximately 2.5 million with skills and ability choose not to work even after they obtain their degree or after they finish their study. They have the skill, they have the ability, but they choose not to work. Perhaps maybe because they got married and things like that. So there's a question also about why is it all about women? It's because this is part of the gender issue that we are facing today. So we are talking about gender, and perhaps the question now is what do we know about gender? So a lot of people ask, what is gender? What do you know about gender? What is gender? Is gender same as sex? Female, male, is it a gender or is it sex? Okay, gender is actually about individual or society perception and assumption. It is the outcome of socialization process, socially and culturally constructed differences between man and woman. For example, we always say, oh, a girl wear pink and a boy wear blue. So this is a social and culturally constructed differences between man and woman. However, this can be changed through socialization process and affirmative action, such as policy, quota, and regulation. What we meant by this is, for example, long time ago, normally only boys, the perception is that a man is supposed to get the higher education, whereas the woman not. The woman only stay at home. But now, because of the policy, the government policy, both men and women are asked to actually pursue their studies. And it become like a social, common in social process. Okay, whereas sex is actually about biological and physiological differences between male and female. It is determined by nature. It is God-given. It is non-changeable, although some may say, oh, there is you can do your sex reassignment, but the truth is that you can never change your sex chromosome. It is XX, it is XY, it is non-changeable. It is not being influenced by history or culture. No matter when is the history or what is the culture, male is a male, female is a female. So these are the difference between gender and sex. So there's a lot of misunderstanding between gender and sex, because sometimes even in our form, because our people, when they do not understand the terminology, you can see even in our application form, they are using the terms, oh, what is your gender? Actually, they are asking, what is your sex? Are you male or a female? But instead, they use the word gender. So for the sake of this training today, it is actually important for us to understand the terms, the correct terms between gender and sex. Okay, what are the gender elements? For gender elements, they have to have elements of perception. It has to be individual or a society, and they have roles. So what is the role of a father? What is the role of a mother? What is the sex? They are female, they are male. The socialization process and gender elements can be changed. For the gender concept, there are few listed here. Among them is gender stereotype, gender sensitivity, gender blind, gender neutral, gender equality, gender equity, and gender mainstreaming. I will go through the gender concept one by one so that we can understand actually when we talk about gender, what is it all about? Okay, this is one of the example that I come up with, gender stereotype. A structured set of belief about personal attributes, behavior, role of a specific social group. Normally, it's biased and often exaggerated images of women and men, which are used repeatedly in everyday life. So I have this set of picture example here. On the two picture above, you can see that on the left-hand side is a male, and on the right-hand side, he is actually also a male. And in fact, these two persons is actually the same person. But because of our structured set of belief, we tend to see that the other person looks like a girl. Why? Because this guy have a long hair, have a smooth skin, which normally a girl would have. He have a red lips and a beautiful eyes. Okay, then we go down to the second picture below. One is a lady and the other one look like a guy. In fact, again, these two person is actually the same person. This is Erica Linder, a model also, which portray both female and male. Is basically a gender bending model. So here, because of the set of belief or the perception that, oh, this look like a woman, this look like a guy, because we already have that perception. So these are what we call the gender stereotype. This is one of the simplest example that we have. Okay, another gender stereotype that we always hear, men being perceived as aggressive and competitive. So we hear this a lot in our workspace. Oh, if the work is rough, or you send men. So women being perceived as passive and cooperative. Normally job offered to women such as secretary or florist. These are the perception. And also there's a traditionally men are regarded as the breadwinner and women as a caretaker. So the guy go out to work and the woman stay at home as housewife. Some of the example again, girls, they play Barbie dolls, and boys, they play robots. These are also a stereotype. In fact, if you give a kid, a boy, a Barbie, or a girl, you give them a robot, they will still play with it. But because of stereotype, we tend to buy even toys for our kids. We already have the stereotype, oh, if I buy Barbie, it's for my girl. If I buy robot, it's for my boy. So these are also the perception of gender stereotype. Another gender stereotype that we always hear is makeup is for girls. In fact, now because of the Korean wave, we notice that guys also wear makeup. In fact, this is one of the top business in Korea. Here in Sabah, you still rarely see male at the makeup section whenever you go to the shopping mall. But it is actually quite common in Kuala Lumpur. I noticed that males start to wear makeup because of the demand of the proper experience and proper appearance. They need to look good. Another sample of gender stereotype. Men work in the office. They go out and work. Whereas women stay at home as housewife, looking after kids, do the house chores. Okay, this is one of the very interesting picture also that I have. This picture is actually taken from UN website. They are having actually a gender equity meeting. And here you can see that there are two trainers in front or two speakers in front. And from this picture alone, it's about 10% sitting, listening. And from this 10%, the head count, In fact, I can only see out of 10, there's only one guy. If it's a guy, if it's a girl with a short hair, then it'll be 100% girl or 100% woman. So again, here is the gender stereotype that whenever we talk about gender in development or we talk about gender issue, it is a perception or a stereotype that, oh, you must be talking about women. You must be raising a woman issue. So this thing is only about a woman. It's only for women. So these are also another stereotype that always happen whenever we are trying to create awareness about gender in development. There are 4 dimensions of gender stereotype. Normally, people will see the characteristic. They see the character, oh, rough, then they give the stereotype, oh, this is male. The roles and behavior, going out to work, okay, it's a male job. Stay at home, it's a woman's job. Physical appearance, if you are muscular, you are like a male. But actually nowadays, women also can go into bodybuilding and have a muscular feature. And sometimes if you look up, you have a smooth skin, you are very thin, or you look like a girl. So, but actually, men also sometimes have a different appearance. And in terms of career, we always hear, whenever we talk about surgeon, for example, there are some of the example that whenever they talk about surgeon, the first assumption is that it must be a male surgeon. In fact, if you just say a surgeon, they straight away perceive it, you're talking about a man. And if it's a woman surgeon, somehow you have to put there female surgeon. You have to actually indicate that she's a woman instead of just addressing her as a surgeon. Same goes to engineer or even architects. And yeah, with a lot of other careers also, it's always the gender stereotype. Okay, next is gender sensitivity. Individual or society capability in understanding and identifying the different needs and wants between men and women discharging their roles in community. Okay, here, gender sensitivity is when we talk about gender sensitivity, is actually important, especially for us architects. If we really notice that we are dealing with people, we are dealing with a community, we are designing their building. So if us, the architect or the engineer or those who are doing the policy making, incapable of understanding and identifying the different needs and wants between men and women, how are we going to service them? So gender sensitivity is also one of the issues that is very important for us to understand. Okay, gender blind. Another concept is the gender blind. It's about actions or policies which do not take into consideration of the situation, roles and need differences between man and woman. Okay, this is a situation where we have both situation. We can see the parents, they have their babies with them. Okay, and they are both in the situation where they have to change their children's napkin. But when you see these 2 pictures, you notice that the man have to go to the male toilet and try to change the diapers, whereas the female, they have a proper diaper changing room. So this is one of the issues where, because of the gender stereotype or the perception that only women look after kids and only women need an area for a diaper changing. So how about those, the single father, or maybe the father just happened to look after the young for one day, mother go out shopping. So the father, if you notice here, the father is in a situation where he have no choice but to bring the kid to another toilet, just the normal toilet, and try to change the diapers. So here, it is basically for us to say that we are totally neglect the fact that nowadays men also can be a babysitter. It is like gender blind. We thought that, oh, we only see women as a babysitter. We totally cannot see that men also can be a babysitter. And there's this concept also what we call gender neutral. So gender neutral is about any actions or policies which are not being influenced by the difference between male or female. For example, this is best demonstrated in our education system, where there is no policy against, oh, girl, you cannot proceed education, or you cannot come to the Tadika and register yourself. No, there's no such thing. Both, it doesn't matter, the quota, there's no quota. Everybody can just register the kids, male or female. They can get, in fact, it is encouraged to get them into education. So these are one of the concept that it is gender neutral. There's also concept about gender equality and gender equity. Okay, here, what is gender equality? Gender equality is the process of being fair to women and men, fair and square approach to development, no discrimination between men and women in terms of enjoying the opportunity available. For gender equity, it's based on the end result. Better concept as justice is based on the different need between women and men, taking into consideration of the varying roles they play. So I'm going to show you a graphic how to differentiate between equality and equity. Okay, there's a three picture here to demonstrate about equality and equity. So what is the difference? So let us look at the situation here. Over behind the fence, the solid fence, there was a game, ongoing game. And there were three brothers with different heights. All the three of them wanted to watch the game. However, they faced an obstacle. The obstacle is the solid fence. They cannot see the game. Okay. So equality is when someone being equal give them equally one box each person for them to stand on it, and so that they have increased their height and be able to watch the game. So if you can see on the first picture, all the three of them is standing on the box. However, the tallest boy get a better view, a higher view, whereas the second boy, nam saja the view. So it's just nice. But the last boy, the shortest boy, even though he's standing on the box, he still cannot see anything. Okay, now we demonstrate to equity. So what is equity all about? Just now we already said that equity is about considering the needs. So in this situation, the characteristic of the person receiving the needs, for example, their height is taken into consideration. The first kid is high enough, tall enough that even without the box, he can actually watch the game. Whereas the second person, the second boy, he only needs one box and he can watch the game comfortably. And the last, the shortest one, only when he was given two boxes, then only he can watch the game. And by doing this, actually all of them having the same opportunity, they having the same eye level, they also enjoy the same game. So this is about equity, meaning to say some of us, we are privileged. We have all the facilities that we need. We have all the resources. We have all the support, our family support and stuff. However, there are people, it could be our friends or our family members, that they are underprivileged. They do not have some other support, that they cannot get the same opportunity as what we have. So they need more support. They need more help. But the last picture is actually very interesting. Knowing and realizing that the obstacle is actually, the whole problem is actually the solid plank in front. So what happened is, somebody actually removed the obstacle and changed it into a fence, the chain link, so that all the three of them, without any help, without any support or even boxes given to them, all the three of them can actually view the game. So actually, gender in development, the SDG goal, this is the goal that we are heading to. We first we create awareness. We aware that there's an obstacle in front of us, or we want to watch a game. We need to watch the game, but there's an obstacle in front of us, and everybody receive help. Well, it doesn't work because some can enjoy, but some cannot. So it doesn't actually achieve the goal. It's just a 50% achievement. But when we do equity, everybody enjoy the game, everybody is able, although the resources is different. Or this boy got 2 bucks, this one don't have. But all the 3 of them achieve the objective of it, which is to watch the game. But the third one is very interesting because upon realizing the problem, somebody actually removed the problem from them. So when we talk about gender equality and gender equity, there is a solid obstacle in front towards development. And that is the reason why we need to identify, we need to train ourselves to actually identify what are the gender issues in gender development. Okay, talking about gender equality and gender equity, again, this is also one of the example. This is very common in the worldwide. What you see on the first picture here is actually people lining up, queuing to go to the toilet. And from the first picture, you can see that the line up to the women's toilet is longer. There's just too many women over there waiting for their turn to actually enter the toilet. Whereas on the other side, the male, there's only one guy walking towards the male toilet. So this is again showing that we are trying to give gender equality. Both male and female have the same amount of cubicle toilet, but one need a more longer waiting time, and another one, he can just walk, pass through, and then finish the business and go out. Okay, the second picture is also quite interesting. Similar situation. This one is in Hong Kong. The woman toilet line is very long, and there's a lot of people waiting. The male toilet, you can almost see from this picture, you can only see one person waiting. Interesting, there's another toilet, which is the disabled toilet. There's a lot of old people waiting in line to use the toilet. Okay, just now when we talk about gender, a lot of us thought that, oh, gender is just about men and women. But actually it can be broken down into few categories. The younger generation and the older generation. If you see the younger generation, they all go to the normal toilet, the normal woman toilet, the normal male toilet. How about the old generation? Those who have problem with their knees, those who have problem, they need the grab bar, they need the support when use all the facilities. So interestingly, we all know that what type of disabled toilet that normally provided in the public. Normally it's a unisex toilet. It's not even man and woman toilet. It's just one toilet for disabled, can be used by man and woman. So imagine that there's a lot of men and women, elderly people waiting in line, not in the good health, to use the toilet. So even in gender itself, it is even broken to another category again, to the elderly also. This is another example, how the design normally, how we architect design toilet. We provide, for the woman toilet, we provide 5 cubicle, 5 WC, and also 3 wash basin. For the male also, we provide 3 WC and 2 urinals. Basically, it's 5 station as well. So from here, we know that the designer is actually practicing gender equality. I give women 5 cubicles, I give the men 5 cubicles. But gender equity is about recognizing the need, the way the woman use the toilet. Why is it there's a long queue? Okay, inside the insider.com, there was a report. In a typical busy restroom, women could wait as much as 34 times longer than men. And that is mostly because women take longer, they menstruate, they have more clothes to remove, they are more likely to have children or elderly with them. But it's also because men and women bathroom are often equal in size, which means men have more toilets They are talking about sometimes you can add more urinals because the urinal doesn't require much space as the WC is. And for equal wait time, experts say there should be at least 3 women's toilet for every 1 men's toilet. So basically they are telling us that the women's toilet should be 3 times bigger than the men's toilet, 3 times capacity than the men's toilet. It is also because the anatomy of the woman, the way our culture, we have more clothes on. So, and then the way we handle ourselves. This is also the reason why it is different from men. After we notice all these issues, there's this one concept, gender mainstreaming. Now that we know that these are the issues that we are facing in our everyday life, we need strategy or approach that take gender into consideration in all spheres of development, planning, regulating, budget, and monitoring. So when we talk about strategy or approach that we need to take into consideration, planning, regulating, budget, monitoring, we are actually talking about at the policy making level. Integrating a gender equality perspective into development process at all stages. Gender is not regarded as separate issue. Why this is important? We take an example, planning. Just now we take back the example of the toilet. If it's not mentioned in issue, oh, we just follow, for example, we follow EPU guideline. It just mentioned that, or based on this, how many square feet you need to provide, how many numbers of cubicle toilet. If you just base on that and you base on gender equality, okay, same amount man and woman, if we are just based on that and we are not sensitive of their need, we end up creating problem just like the problem that shown just now, which is the long queue waiting. And this is a waste resource, you wasting time. In fact, this impact on both sides also, because sometimes men also wait for their woman. Their woman take longer time, 34 minutes sometimes, to actually just wait to go into the toilet. So if we can settle this problem at the planning level, we already know that the ratio is 3 to 1, 3 women toilets to 1 male toilet. So if we already know that and we incorporate that in our design, for example, in architecture, in our design, we actually already solved this problem. There's no more waiting, and it is well utilized. Integrating the gender equality perspective into the development process at all stages. For example, like policy making. We know that women, just now we talk about women in career. There are a lot of women, but they are not working. About 2.5, they have all the 2.5 million women in Malaysia, based on the data itself. They can work, they have the ability, they have the skills, but they did not go into the sector, the working sector. And this actually impact on our country in terms of economic growth. We cannot, cannot just let this happen, because we are creating wastage. We train them so much. They enter university. We invest in them so much. Some of them were given scholarship. And in the end of the day, when they come out from the IPTA or the higher education, they end up not going into the working sector. So this is also a wastage for our country. Okay, development concept, a holistic approach. I purposely choose this picture. In fact, there's a lot of people in this world, and a lot of people are not aware of gender. In fact, they have been practicing, practicing gender in development. They've been involved, but because they are not aware, they did not realize they're basically blind. It's just a coincidence that they touch on it. For example, like we design toilets. Again, toilet example. We design toilet because it's already a norm. Or every shopping mall have to have a toilet, and normally we just divide it into 2, male and female, equally. So because we do not have the awareness, so we just do things as per usual. It takes one person actually to realize, to have awareness, and not only just to realize, but to step out and make the difference. There are 6 levels of development in this effort. It starts with oneself, one person realize. I believe that after my sharing, all of you suddenly realize that, oh, I never thought about it before. I noticed the problem before. Yeah, I've seen the long queue before, but I never really thought about it. What's the problem? I never thought about, oh, we must have more women toilet. It's always like, wah, panjangnya barisan ke tandas wanita. It's always about that. It's always about, you just look at it, you notice that there's not really an awareness. But after the sharing just now, I hope that all of you can be aware and now can actually see. So by doing that, actually, I already passed you to the first level, which is the self-awareness. You are aware of this situation. You are aware that there is issues with gender, regarding gender. Okay. After you're aware, people will start sharing. Normally, it's sharing between family and friends. And we start to look things, we start to be sensitive. Oh, a girl, she need more allowance, for example. Why? It's not only food or drink that she buy. She also need to buy, like, for example, for the sanitary, for the menstruation period. She need to buy pads, for example. So she need to have extra budget. In the policy making also, from the awareness that oneself suddenly realize that, oh, okay, men and women, they have different needs. Then you share with the family start discussing about their financial. They start to be aware that there's a difference between male and female. It's not just about equality. Oh, baby boy also give this amount, girl also give this amount. No, they have a different need, so the amount of budget that given to them also different. That's it. That is an example. And when the awareness within the family, as we spread the awareness, it become a district and community awareness too. In this district and community awareness, for example, the based on the demographic of the area, do you need more? So, for example, like surau. If you have more women activities in one place, in one masjid or one surau, you need a bigger space. Normally, what we see is that a bigger space for men, because the assumption is that there's a lot of men going for the sembahyang Jumat every Friday. But how about the women? We need to look at how many women are actually involved in the activities and where are they. Sometimes women, they are just put at the corner. And this is to actually to be discussed within the community, because only they know what they need and what they want. After the district and community level, it should go to the state level. State level is about policy making, and in the end, the country, and lastly is the world or international. If everybody is aware, everybody is present in this matter, in these issues, everybody participate in solving the problem, the gender issues, and everybody involved in the decision making, I think there's a lot of things that can be solved in this world. There are 3 types of gender roles for holistic development. Okay, this one also we need to understand. Number 1 is productive, number 2 is reproductive, and number 3 is community. So what is productive, reproductive, and community? Okay, gender role number 1, productive, performed by men and women, producing products, services for trade to fulfill family needs, having monetary value perceived as noble by society, meaning to say if you have jobs, proper jobs, you have high pay, it's perceived as noble. Women participation still low, particularly in the non-traditional area. Maybe some of you think that in my area, there's a lot of women working. I saw even I myself a woman working. But in fact, by data, there's still a lot of women who is not part of this effort. Gender role number 2, reproductive. This is Reproductive is about daily activity and chores, taking care of kids, cooking, washing, cleaning the house, etc. This role has no monetary value and perceived as low by the community. However, this is also one of the very important to actually maintain the harmony of the household. Imagine if you go back home and nothing has been done. The laundry is not done. The house is not clean. The house is dusty. Nobody taking care of the kids. It will be a total chaos. So they have a responsibility, and the parents, whether it's the father or the mother, have a roles to play. And they have to have a role, distribute the role, who is going to out to work, whether it's the mother working or the father working, and who is going to take care of the kids. Okay, gender role number 3, community. Perform at the society level. Women are still lack of contribution due to overburden with house chores such as taking care of children, cleaning the house. So in community also sometimes we need the woman's voice, but normally woman is not the one that joining the community service. It's because that they are too busy looking after the household. So this is also an issue when decisions were made, for example, the upgrading or the provision of a service center, and suddenly we realize that they never take it into account the woman's need. Why? Because the woman never attended the meeting. That is example. It could be another way around, because there is sometimes only woman is active and the man is not active, and when decision is made, then the man realized that there's nothing about the man is being considered. It's only all about woman. The budget is all about woman's need. There's nothing about men's need. So these are the things that the role is have to be clear also on the community. We need both participation between the male and the female. Okay, I come to the end of my presentation. So basically, as a conclusion, number 1 is awareness of gender issue. This is very important because just now we might ask, what is gender? What is the relevance? We see that how gender actually can impact even in our design, even in our decision making or the economic and all that. Gender is not just about women. I demonstrate just now how the babysitter, the father, when he become a babysitter, he doesn't have a proper facility for him to actually help to look after his baby. So this gender is not just about women. Time is changing. It's no longer just women who look after kids. Men also look after kids. Gender issues have impact on society. I think this is made clear that this issue have impact on society. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. And we have the next session also, module 2, applying the gender lens in development, which our friend architect Tracy Yap will share. So I hope you join this session also, because very much of what I shared just now is all about introduction. It's all about creating awareness about this gender. But applying the gender lens is actually the practical part of how you actually use the knowledge that has already been given to actually apply and to see and for you to make a decision. Okay, I pass this time back to Justin. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for that very informative and good talk. We have a few questions from the floor. Let me just raise them up. Okay, first question from our chairman, Architect Rizal. What is your opinion that gender should take priority over merit? And what is the benchmark that society has achieved gender equality?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Okay. What is your opinion that gender should take priority over merit? And what is the benchmark that society has achieved gender equality?
Okay. What is the opinion between gender and merit?
You can pull it up. It's in your tab just at the below. You can pull it up. It should appear on your screen.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, what is the merit of considering gender against merit, is it?
Yes.
So, okay, why should we choose woman but not based on merit? Actually,
That's
we
right.
don't. We base on need. Actually, what we are saying just now is when you say we choose gender against merit, is actually the difference between gender equality or gender equity. So you have to understand that when we talk about gender, we are saying that hold on, Mandy, battery. Okay, we are saying that there's a lot of women that is not involved in the work sector. In fact, we need more people in our working sector to boost up our economy. And there's a lot of things that women can do, but they are not. For example, we need a lot of architects, and I think Dr. Tan Taeying shared last time in one of the chat session that we have a lot of women architects, for example, that goes to ITTA, study architecture, but when they come out, they did not become architect. So on our side, we keep on saying that we have not enough architect to service our building industry. So if let's say we are saying that based on gender, oh, I must have 50% women, 50% men. No, that is not the issue. This is not what the SDG is all about. Gender is about men and it's about women. So meaning to say, if you are good and you're hired, it's actually based on merit if it's required. But there are some, what we are actually trying to highlight is that we want women to come out and join the workforce. This is what we are talking about. It's not about quota actually. So when the question asks about gender and merit, I think you are talking about 50% women or 50% men, is it? If I'm correct about interpreting that question. Okay. The next one is the benchmark of the gender equality. So what is the benchmark? Okay, I can only answer for Sabah. I was informed last time that the benchmark to actually measure, I mean the nearest target now, what we call the nearest target is actually 30%. And in fact, from the study, it's very interesting that for Sabah, we actually already reached the benchmark of 30% women in the workforce. Unfortunately, there's a backfire to this because according to another report, it says that the reason why the women actually reach up higher than 30% is because there's a reduce of workforce among the male. So now, in fact, of having problem with women in development, we are now, Sabah, having a problem with male or men in development. So it goes the other way around. So now, in Sabah, particularly talking about the working sector, our concern is about the men. It's no longer about the woman. But then again, it's not like totally we are not concerned because there's a lot of other issues with women. Women issues, for example, the salary. It's not equal. For example, it's the same job description, it's the same amount of work, but their salary is different. So if I am to give you example, for example, okay, the father is an engineer working, earning 10K per month, for example, 10K per month. And one day he falls sick, he can no longer work. And now the wife have to go out to substitute in order to bring income to the household. Remember, the guy 10K, then ngam-ngam lah for the perbelanjaan rumah, 10K. Now when the woman go out to work, she might not get as much as the husband, but don't forget the expenditure is still the same. So meaning to say, here, it still creates a social issue. There are still issues that actually have something to do with gender. So that is the reason why we actually highlight there's a lot of angle in this gender in development, the gender issue. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, so now we move on to the next question that has been presented by Kaniza Safi. She's made a statement here. Work from home is an old job title, which has been recently used during the lockdown. Many women work from home. It's a job to be a stay-at-home wife and mother. Yes, I agree with that. I can testify to that. My wife being at home looking after 2 children, it is a full-time job. What are your thoughts on that and comments, Architect Sharon?
Okay, work from home. Actually, it's not just women work from home. Nowadays, there's a lot of online, okay, online marketing. Even like, for example, Shopee. We do not know. It's not necessarily from the office. It can be work from home as well. So it's actually not just about women. There are many women work from home. There are also many men work from home, and it's not just a job title. It's no longer just a job title for housewife. It can be a house husband as well. So yeah, that is my comment on that.
Okay, from the same person, the next question. How do you define work or workforce, paid or unpaid? Many women work from home or at home, but unpaid.
Okay, define work or workforce, paid or unpaid. I think what you're saying is hired contract work or housewife work. Is it? Is that the definition of paid and unpaid? I think that is the definition. Is it? Sorry, I actually don't really understand the question here. How do you define work or workforce, paid or unpaid? I think it's very clear that if you are going out of the house or even like work from home, there should be a proper contract. So there should be a proper payment, meaning to say upon delivering your service, you should be paid. So that is consider working for joining the workforce outside. But for the unpaid, I assume that you are talking about being the housewife, is it? You do all the work, all the hard work. You are looking, you are the babysitter, you do all the house chores, but you are not paid. So I think these are also the issues that one of actually the gender issues where the woman at home, because of they are not given allowance by the husband, there's no proper discussion between the husband and the wife. For example, the husband go out and work and earn, for example, earn the 10K, but the wife at home is just depending on the husband, how much the husband will give her monthly to buy groceries, to buy food, to buy all the necessities. So I think the about the unpaid, these are the issues relating to problems at home, also relating to like abusive home, for example, like sometimes the guy don't even provide anything for the household and the mother actually have to work extra, for example, plant some vegetables or do nasi lemak, sell on the roadside, at the same time do work at home. So these are actually also gender issues, but okay, it is not discussed here because this is just module 1. In fact, these issues a lot being discussed in the module 3 and module 4. So maybe next time with PEM Gender Equity Committee, Special Committee, we may arrange for the presentation for the other modules so that we can also see what are the gender issues and what are the things that we can do in order to mainstream this gender in development. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think she's just clarified. She wanted to hear your opinion on the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
I think that's it for that.
Okay. We have another question now from Rushdina Ismail. Gender in architecture has already been taught and already been implemented since before. If you refer to world history, even old dynasties, Kesultanan Melayu, and regards to religious places and etc., has already practiced separation in spaces and living. Do you agree in order to respond to the gender inequality in current design, space and function are to be separated in any buildings and development?
Okay. Like we mentioned, it is based on the need. If the culture or the society is in agreement. In fact, this is a lot, just to clarify that the question actually a lot is to be discussed in the module 3 and module 4. Okay, I'll just give some example. Because of religion, sometimes because of religion, we take Muslim religion, then there is a need to separate between male and female. That's why we have a policy of making surau. There's a surau for male section and there's a surau for female section. Even in their wuduk area also, we are carefully designed because we also understand there is a need for the ladies to actually cover their aurat. That is the reason why, by understanding gender issues and requirement, these are the sensitive things that we have to take into account when making the design policy. For example, this is just one subject of design policy. So these are the things that this is not new actually. In fact, from the beginning, from the creation of this earth also, there's already about man and woman. The moment we talk about man and woman, these two different sexes, there's already involved gender issues. There's the need for the kaum Hawa. There's also a need for kaum Adam. There's a respect for the woman. There's a respect for the man. And in terms of all the space separation, yes, it has been implemented. For example, the Malay culture, they are so into this. We take example Rumah Melayu. Rumah Melayu, it's very obvious that the front part is where the man socialize, and the behind the dapur is where the woman socialize. And because it is their culture, it is already their social process, there is no issues with them. Everybody agree in agreement to live such way, and they live in harmony. There's no issue. The issue comes is when somebody is not sensitive with the other gender need. For example, in the modern days, suddenly we realize that there is a need for OKU toilet. Even the disabled people, I also want to go shopping complex and shopping. And then they realize when they are in a shopping complex, there's not much disabled toilet available. You have to go to ground floor, for example, only one at the ground floor. So it creates a hassle. And these are also the things that whether we realize or not, are we aware? Are we sensitive enough to realize that, hey, disabled also, they actually need, if can, every floor, because they travel every floor. They are not just at the ground floor. Nowadays with all the lift system and all, they also. And like I shared just now, the Hong Kong toilet. If you realize for the OKU toilet, it's only unisex toilet, there's only one toilet, but both man and woman, somehow don't forget that they are not young people, they are old people. Old people, we also understand that sometimes they cannot hold their bladder, and it's very tiring for, and then somehow when they go and use the toilet, they will take time. They need to hold the grab bar, they need to properly sit down so that they don't injure their knee and things. If we really go into another training, another cabang training, for example, the disability equity training, you will realize that even in the disability equity training, there is a gender issue as well. Okay, so these are the things that I think, although it is not that it is not implemented before, it is. But what I'm saying is that it is not yet enough because we have not reached the sustainable level yet. We still hear problems, other people's problems. It may be not your problem now. It may be not within your circle problem. For example, Kuala Lumpur is very advanced. So maybe they are already pioneer. They are already the first one to take steps in policy making, taking consideration to gender. But maybe for Sabah in KK, we are starting. DBKK, the local authorities, start asking questions. Even at the disability training, they ask whether they need to provide disability toilet for both men and women. They already start to aware about these gender issues. So what we are trying to do is that we wanted to become advocate actually. We wanted to help those who are in need. We want to lessen the gap. Maybe your place, the gap is already become smaller. You don't see the problem anymore. But how about outside? The gap is still big. That's why we are actually disseminating information and also ideas in order for us to actually to continue this effort. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have another question. How can we, I know you've mentioned the toilet and certain issues like that. How can we be more sensitive or take into consideration the respective gender needs in relation to our architectural space planning? How can we better, better emphasize it and address it?
Okay, how can we better emphasize it? Actually, it's number one is first we are aware. We need to be aware, because without awareness, even if we see a problem, we don't see the problem. It's in front of your eyes, but you don't perceive it as a problem because you are not aware. Once you are aware, you know there's a problem, you start thinking and you start to actually trying to think of a solution. When you try to think of a solution, meaning to say you are participating in the effort already. So for this gender in development, actually there's what we call PPD, the presence, meaning to say you are there, you are the witness of that issues, and you participate. You participate in that issues, and you also participate in the decision making. So for example, the policy and all that. So in terms of design, for example, we talk about toilet. It's all about seeing how people actually use the toilet. In fact, if I want to elaborate about toilet, it's not only about male toilet, female toilet. It's not enough, things like that. Just now, the insiders.com, they already mentioned unit ratio 3:1. We also have, for example, the OKU toilet. When the local authority asks, for example, this is, I just sharing, for example, I assume that we just provide OKU toilet without any awareness of how the OKU will use the toilet. So we are satisfied by providing just one toilet, unisex toilet. And one of the local authority in Sabah actually asked, is it okay if we provide one OKU toilet inside the women's toilet and another one OKU toilet inside the male toilet? It sounds good. It sounds so generous. In fact, they're almost like, well, we want to make it a policy to show that we are gender aware. But basically, this is gender equality. They do not understand how OKU works. In fact, when we ask the OKU themselves, you know what the OKU actually sharing? You nak letak toilet dalam toilet wanita, or you want to letak the toilet inside the male's toilet. What if the OKU is your father and you are the daughter? How are you going to enter to the male toilet to bring your father inside the OKU toilet? You can't. Or maybe your mother is the OKU and you are the son. How can you go into the woman's toilet to bring your mother to the toilet? So now we realize that it's not about equality. Even you equally provide them the toilet, it doesn't work. It may work to somebody. If kebetulan the father with the son, the mother with the daughter, it can work. But it doesn't work for everyone. We have to understand, OKU, it doesn't matter if your guardian can be the other gender, the other sex. So this is also an awareness, because you assume that if a father, the son will look after, or the mother, the daughter. We are assuming. So when we ask the OKU, we realize that, oh, you actually need to engage the person in need. So there must be a communication between the person and the person in need, and to bring that person in need to share and to participate. You see, I got this information because the OKU actually participate in our discussion when we discuss about the need of the OKU toilet. So this is also one of the interesting information that we got during the disability equity training. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Sharon. Are there any more questions from the participators? Please feel free to just key it into the question and answer box below, and Sharon will be ready to address any questions you have to this very interesting topic. Yeah, I'll give it a minute or two. Okay, if there are no further questions, we shall conclude today's session. Thank you very much for participating, and thank you, Sharon, for that wonderful talk, an insightful talk. We hope to be more, we have gained a lot of insights today into this topic. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. And don't forget to submit your forms with your sign in and sign out code. All right, good afternoon, and thank you, everyone.